Hello, I want to thank you for coming in today to the Border Patrol agent interview. I do appreciate your time. My name is Jj&x. Over here is Mark. Over here is Sally and Anthony. They are going to be taking notes during the process of this interview. I will be asking the questions just so you're aware of that. During the process here, we're not trying to trip you up or give you a hard time. We're just trying to make sure you are a good fit for the Border Patrol. Without further ado, are you ready for the interview? Okay, thank you. So I want to ask you first is, I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. Yes. Okay, thank you. As a Border Patrol agent, you will need to be vigilant. So can you give me an example of when you were vigilant? Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you. Can you give me an example of when you had to utilize critical thinking skills? And give me an example of that. Uh-huh. When was that? Okay. Okay. Explain to me a situation when you were a supportive team member. Right, a supportive team member, correct. Okay. And when was that, please? What year was that? Okay. Okay. Describe a time when you exercise confidentiality at work. Give me one example. Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you. Describe a time when you went above and beyond the call of duty. Uh-huh. Okay. As you could probably imagine, remaining calm is a part of this job. Give me an example when you were remaining calm during, shall we say, a stressful situation. Okay. What's one of your greatest strengths? Strength, yes. Okay, and one of your greatest weaknesses? Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Tell me a time when you utilized see here, a disciplined approach to a problem or a disciplined approach when you completed a task. Tell me about a time when that happened. Okay, thank you. At this time, I want to ask you, do you have any questions for us? Thank you. Okay, let's review these questions I gave you for the Border Patrol agent. First of all, though, hit subscribe, please. Also hit the comments as well. Give me some comments down below. Hit like as well. I would really appreciate that. My name is Jj&x. I've been doing this for about 25 years. What have I been doing? I've been on many various hiring boards for many careers, probably over 4 dozen careers. I'm always a third party. I'll sit there, I'll watch the person answer the questions to make sure they are a fit. I'm the outside person looking at this person for their fit, not for the skill set, for the fit, okay? So first question was to tell me about yourself, right? When they ask you that question, do not talk about your dog, your cat, you like to go surfing or skiing. That's not what they're going to want to hear. There are 3 things I want you to remember with this question, okay? There's the education aspect that I want you to make sure that you bring up. Very important for us. The second one is going to be the qualities. What qualities you have that relate to the job. And the third one is the skill set. That's very important. I want you to bring those up. So let's go for education first. When you answer that question, it doesn't matter if you have a BA, a master's, a AA, or whatever, even no education, right? I don't want you to hang on to that education like you're going to impress the interview panel, because you aren't. If you've got a BA or higher, it's really great. That's fantastic. AA is great as well. That's all fantastic, but don't hang on to that. What do I mean by that? I mean, when you mention it, and I'll give you an example in a minute here. When you mention it and keep on going. I've had people up there and different cross many examples will sit there. I had a BA degree. I worked so many years for this degree. I had to work through the daytime for this and nighttime for this. Nobody wants to hear that story, because everybody on that board is already going to have an education, either through the formal process or through life, right? So you're not going to impress anybody. Qualities are very big. because the qualities are important because they're going to use those qualities to see how you fit into the job, okay? Border Patrol agent job, you got to have different qualities of your person. Skill set, that I want you to say last because I want that one to really be remembered by them. So let's get an example, right? So tell me about yourself. Well, ever since I was a young boy, I've always wanted to be a Border Patrol agent. I just find that job to be amazing to me. The protection part of it, the watching and to be vigilant for America, I really like that part. I do have an AA degree, a general studies degree. I loved going to school to learn as much as I could. In that 2-year time span, it was a great experience for me. My qualities I bring to this job are vast, but I bring an attention to detail. I bring a great sense of teamwork. I love working with teams. I really believe that if I cannot even work with a team, I'm also good working alone as well. Whatever that job requires, I know I can do it because I wanted to do it all my life. I also bring a sense of camaraderie, a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. I really believe in that. To get any job done, I think, in any business you're in, especially Border Patrol, you have to bring that with you, that sense of belonging. Last, I want to tell you about my skills. I've learned how to get along with anybody. I can get along with anybody. I've also taken some Spanish speaking class as well because I know many of the people who come to the border speak Spanish. I've done that as well. I have a great way of de-escalating. I know how to de-escalate situations so they don't go out of hand and people get upset. I can calm people down. I have a great skill set of listening. I am a really good listener. I think that's an important part of any job, but especially with Border Patrol. I can bring all that to this job, my education, my skill set, and my qualities to this job to make myself an excellent Border Patrol for your border station. And you guys see how I answer that question. I'm really getting into it. I'm being sincere. I'm really saying what I can do for the Border Patrol. I'm bringing it all to the front to them, because you guys, this is your only chance you're going to have. There's probably like 20 people they're going to interview. You're one of 20. So you have to make sure you make those big words stand out, those sticking words stand out. You're learning Spanish, you get along with people, you're a good listener. Always throw that stuff out there, okay? Second question, as an officer, you will need to be vigilant. Describe a time when you demonstrated vigilance. Now, you don't have to come from a law enforcement background to answer this question, right? Oh, that's a great question. Thank you very much. One day, probably about a year ago, we were in the shopping mall. We're going to our car, and I saw a guy just kind of hanging out by his car, looking around. It was the middle of the summer. He had on a coat and a hoodie on, hat on all the way, and I just was really conscious about the way he was looking. So I got my wife and my daughter in the car. I made sure that we were clear of him, and then we left. You guys, that's all you guys say. You don't have to be, Mr. Detective, and I went up there and saw what he was doing. No. Vigilant doesn't mean you have to engage, right? Especially if you're a civilian at that time. It means that you're protecting your family. So you kept your eye on him while you make sure your family got to the car and got in there safely and you left. Plus, you noticed what he had on, a coat, overcoat, hat, hoodie, whatever. You were saying what he had on. You were being observant, okay? So don't think with this question, you got to be Mr. Down to the T's, No. Just know that the guy could have been a possible threat. Maybe he wasn't, but maybe he was, right? And so you're telling this interview panel that you are an observant person. You're being vigilant. That's what that means. But vigilant means to be proactive. So you're going to the parking lot and you're being vigilant. Understand? That's all you got to tell them, okay, guys? Number 3 is just tell me about a situation at work when you utilize critical thinking skills to solve a problem. That's a great question, right? It can be used with any job you had. Say you had a job at McDonald's, right? You're coming from Border Patrol, you're coming from McDonald's and you're trying to get into the Border Patrol. Critical thinking, yes. Thank you for that question. I really do appreciate it. At McDonald's where I work, we had some problems with the shifts and they just weren't working right. People were not coming to work. People were missing hours, so on and so forth. So I went to the supervisor and I showed her a new schedule. I said, how about we do overlapping? Because before she had from 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 8. And I said, why not have it overlapping? Why not do a 7 till 3, right? And then a 2 till 11, and then a 10 to 6. and therefore our shifts were overlapping. So we always had someone there, regardless, on the normal schedule. And that made sense to her because I was showing her the effects of how overlapping works with her schedule. I applied my critical skills to figure out a problem, and she understood it and she used it. And to this day, they're using my overlapping technique that I brought on there to the McDonald's schedule. Overlapping. So there we go, guys. Again, don't get too extravagant with your answers. Remember, you're one of 20 people there for that day. Maybe for the whole week, it's going to be 100 people interviewed, right? Keep it short and sweet, but logical. And something they can remember, oh, that's that job like he talked about overlapping schedules and they use it to this day. You see, don't be the guy there talking for 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, I told Jerry A to go over here to quadrant 423 and quadrant 4291 here. You're going to confuse them and you're going to bore them. You're not going to impress them at all because they're there all day long. So make it short and sweet, okay? Explain a situation where you're supportive of a team, where you were a supportive team member. Fantastic question, right? Again, let's use Walmart as an example, right? Well, as you know, I work at Walmart, and a lot of times I see the cashiers are getting overwhelmed with people coming because Walmart's a very busy place. I do not like to sit there and do nothing. I'm very proactive. So what I do, even though I'm a cashier, many times if my cashier is not busy, I will go help out my fellow colleagues to do bagging for them. Help out any way I can. Ask them, do they want a break? Do they want me to do something for them to make their job easier? Maybe go do a price check for them. I'm always want to be proactive to help out. I believe in teamwork. I'm an active team member. There we go again, right? You're being supportive. And what that means by being supportive is you're saying in your answer, you're not waiting to be told. So you're not reactive. The Border Patrol doesn't want people who are reactive. They don't want that. They want you to be proactive. And you're showing that example by using Walmart. I mean, you may think it's funny using McDonald's and Walmart, but you are getting true skill sets from those kinds of jobs as well. They're not nothing to look down upon because you're getting real skill sets from those jobs, right? So you say with the Walmart example, I'm proactive. I'm not just going to sit there and wait to be told to go help bag or wait to do this, whatever. I'm going to be proactive. The interview panel understands, okay, how does that translate for Border Patrol? It means you're going to sit there and you're going to be proactive. You're watching, you're vigilant, you're on it. You're not sitting by this and waiting for the radio to go on to tell you where to go. No, you're being proactive. You see, the answers I'm giving you are designed to fit into the job of a Border Patrol agent. I hope that makes sense to you guys, okay? Don't be reactive, be proactive. Describe a time when you maintain confidentiality at work. Huge deal these days. Huge deal. Because what they're asking you really in this question is trust. Can we trust you? That's a huge deal. When you're dealing with stuff like Border Patrol, law enforcement, hospitals, whatever, there's always a confidentiality quotient. We always got to make sure you are someone we can trust, right? So, describe a time where you maintain confidentiality at work. So, in my past, I was a medical assistant. As a medical assistant, we have access to many patients' charts and things like that. Look up people's information if you want to, but we never do. Because in the medical field, there's HIPAA, which is patient confidentiality. Every day I went to my job as a medical assistant for 4 or 5 years that I worked there, I always held the utmost confidentiality of people's personal effects. That was important to me. So especially in that job, every day I had access. I could have had access to many people's charts and addresses, phone numbers, whatever. I never did that. I was always someone who can be trusted to just use the patient in front of me, their information, and when they're done, they go away, the charts close. That's very important because I know my patients have to trust me with their information. Again, you see, the Border Patrol interview panel can easily translate that into, okay, this person can be trusted. They've had a lot of experience with confidentiality. He's even been under HIPAA, so he knows how that works already, right? But that translates into any person's situation. If you're a waitress, credit cards, you take a lot of credit cards, right? I mean, whatever story you want to say, right? Say that you have used that information not against the person. You have kept their stuff confidential. Kept their card, you hand over it, you scan it real quick, you bring it back to the customer. Whatever you want to use, you want to make sure you translate trust into the answer to your question for the Border Patrol. I hope that's making sense to you guys too. At this point here, subscribe please. Do not be part of these 88% of people just look at the video and they walk away. No, subscribe, become part of the family. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much, you guys, okay? Describe a situation when you went above and beyond the call of duty. Okay, this is the one question I really can't help you out with, but here's some hints for you. When they ask you to say when you went above and beyond, translate that into being, I want you to brag for a minute. This is really a time to brag about yourself for that minute. Remember again, you got 20 people that day. You got 19 other people who want to have your job at the Border Patrol. If you sit there like a drone, went to the gym and I worked out with 200 pounds, I was above and beyond. No. It sounds funny, but about 30% of people give me the drone interview. Especially at the Border Patrol, they don't want to deal with drones. You got to be alive and enthusiastic like you really want to be there. So when they ask you to go above and beyond the call of duty, man, brag, say something strong and good and something you're very proud of, right? You really want to get that few minutes there to brag about what you've done. It's okay to brag for that minute or two because they're asking you the question, hey, job-wise, tell me about a time you went above and beyond. I see that as, okay, then I get to brag a little bit. Then go ahead and brag a little bit. It's okay, guys. It really is. Describe a time when you use successful communication to resolve a difficult situation. Not that hard, you guys, okay? What you always want to say, let me give you my example. I'll give you an example right now. Let's see. Okay. When I was a medical assistant, a patient got very, very upset because she was given the wrong test results, and she was very upset with it. Now, the diagnosis wasn't life-threatening, but she was very upset. So when she came to me in the room to explain this, she was yelling, very angry, but she wasn't cursing at me. So what I did, I listened to her. And the more I listened, the more her voice got calm. I didn't tell her to calm down. She started calming down on her own because she realized I was not going to react to her high level of stress. I wanted to be patient. I looked at her in the eyes. My hands were folded like this. I nodded at certain times throughout the conversation. Sometimes I repeated what she said to make sure I understood what she said. And after about 10 minutes, she calmed down. We spoke about this one-to-one at the same level. And then when she was done, I offered some solutions to her. If she didn't like my solutions at that point, then I would go up to my supervisor and let the supervisor know. Either way, at the end of the conversation, I was going to chart the whole conversation in her chart to make sure that we took care of her because she was our patient / our customer. Same thing here, guys. What you always want to do, use the L word when it comes to people who are angry or mad. You want to be a listener. You always want to de-escalate. You never want to escalate. I know people get wrapped up, they go crazy, whatever. You've got to be the one who's calmed down, the voice of reason, the calm, cool head, right? Especially if we're thinking about you wearing a uniform representing the Border Patrol / United States. They don't want any fools out there going crazy and as loud as the people they deal with. No, you got to maintain your calm, cool head under stress. That's why they ask that question. And you begin that answer with always the L word, listening. You put listening in there somewhere in the conversation where you are a listener, okay? That's a really good way to do it. What are your greatest strengths? Whatever strength that is, you say it. I always like to say trust. Because when you're dealing in law enforcement, you say trust, integrity, being tenacious, things like that, okay? But if you can, use trust or integrity. That's very important because, especially in law enforcement, especially with today's environment, right? You got to be that way. A weakness is always a good one. I like to say about weakness is you'll make a weakness into a strength. Yes, I work as a medical assistant and I work 9 to 5, but sometimes like about 4:45, 4:40, I'll start talking to a patient, and before I know it's 5:15, and I'm in 15 minutes overtime. My boss hates that. I know she does. But I like talking to my patients. Okay, you see how that translates, you guys? Same thing with Border Patrol too, right? You're in the Border Patrol, you're talking to one of your colleagues, you go over like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever, it's okay. Here's what they're saying. The reason why the weakness is a strength in the medical assistant situation is because you're talking to a patient, a customer, 15 minutes. So yeah, we're paying you 15 minutes overtime, but what are you doing? You're doing a fantastic advertisement for the business in the medical assistant field. Same thing for Border Patrol. If you're talking to your colleagues, whatever, about real stuff, or maybe helping a colleague with a hard problem in life, whatever, all I'm saying is that a weakness can be easily thrown into a strength if you talk about you're dealing with other people, okay? That's what's the most important part about that, all right? It's not that hard. When have you utilized a disciplined approach while completing a task? Well, if you have a military background, that's pretty easy, right? So, disciplined approach when completing a task. Let's go back into, supervisor. Okay, many years ago, I was a supervisor. I needed to have this task done with my team. So what I did with my team, I set dates. I want this done on this date here, this done 2 days later on this date here, this done on this date here. Those 3 different dates, I would make sure I would personally check the work to make sure those were done. I had to make sure it was a good disciplined approach. They used the right material. They're there on time. When they get the job done, they let me know when it was done. That's the discipline I use for all 3 tasks. At the end of the time period there, on the 6th day, it was all done. All 3 tasks were done because I maintained my crews. I kept them morale up. I kept them focused so they had the right tools. We had all 3 jobs done. And that's how I did that. Last question was, do you have any questions for us? Yes, you do. If you leave that chair as a Border Patrol candidate and you don't ask one question, forget about the call. You're never going to get a call back ever. They're not going to call you because you are not demonstrating curiosity of the job. So what does that mean, job-wise? It means that an interview is a 2-way street. It's not a 1-way street. People always say, oh, I'm going to go Monday to get my interview by the Border Patrol. No, you're going to go Monday to interview the Border Patrol. They're not going to just interview you and walk away. No, you're going to interview them. So what do you mean by that, job-wise, Jones? Your question. Do you have any questions for us? Yes, we do. Every JobWise Jones listener, viewer, subscriber knows this answer to the question. One question you must ask is this. It is called power transference. So you're the interviewee, they're the interviewer. This question makes it, you become the interviewer, they become the interviewee. What's the question? The question is, yes, what is it about this job that makes you want to come here every day? It's a fair question. It's an intelligent question. You're asking, if this place is so great, why do you come here every day, right? It's a great question. And you will know from their answer if you really want to be a Border Patrol agent. You won't know the whole thing, but you know at least some of it why you want to be based upon their answer. It also lets them know immediately this is an intelligent person and they're asking a good question. You will get a lot of respect from that question. I've seen it before. Those people who ask that question are always given at least a second interview or some kind of thought process going. The people who say no, I don't have any questions at all, they walk away. We never call them back. That's just a waste of time. Be the one they call back by asking smart questions. Number 2 question you want to ask is this: what are the qualities of the best 1 or 2 Border Patrol agents you have here? Because I want to emulate that. What are their best qualities? Another great question, right? You're saying to them, I want to be the best, but I'm not so full of my own ego that I think I'm the best. I want to know who I should learn from to become the best, okay? That's all you got to do, guys, all right? If you have any questions at all, let me know at jobwisejones@gmail.com. Please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. Hit that like button and send me some comments, okay? Your comments are going to help everybody. We're here to help each other out. This is what I do, and the comments help out other people looking on here to maybe get themselves some work for the interview, right? Some interview work, and that's what I do. If you guys have any suggestions or comments, whatever, let me know that too. I come into this with no ego. I'm here to learn as well, but I'm here to teach and pay it forward to help you guys out with your careers, all right? Thank you for your time, though, and have a good night. Bye-bye.